what I'd like to do for a few minutes right now is just get into some shared values, because it's like, Cory, what really struck me when we did the first Facebook Live is your self-description as being a revolutionary who wants to make a difference in the world. And I think that all of us are kind of doing this for that reason. And it would be nice just to hear each of us talk about what Linda's program, as we're understanding it right now, is inspiring to us personally and where we'd like to see it go, because that's really important information that we've never gotten around to sharing.
And Tony, to sort of piggyback on that too, is it started as my program, and Cory basically said, hey, can we do, it was like, gee, I've never thought about that, and it morphed from there. But my whole purpose, as I said, is I want to change the dynamic of leadership. Where it is right now, we don't have leaders. We have dictators. We have tyrants. And even in the corporate world, where you have corporate leaders saying, yes, I'm into my feminine. I go, yeah, from here. You're not in your feminine here. Yes, you may be innovative and creative, but you're still telling people what to do. So I want to change that. It's why I wrote No One Stood Up. It's why I'm writing this next book, because I especially want the millennials to see that there is another way, that this isn't the only way to lead, and this isn't the way that they have to lead. And just because of us graybeards are doing it this way is not necessarily the best. And that having said, who do they get to mentor them so that they can do that? Yeah. That's the challenge right now, is who knows this leadership and who can mentor it. So
yeah, that makes sense.
That's why I want to get it out. Yeah, I want to get out. Personally, I want to get out of the Bay Area. I would love some of my international Toastmasters people to say, can you bring this to Saudi Arabia? Although that'll never happen, but could you bring it to Nigeria?
Well, I don't know if that's true, actually. Okay. I have a client in Saudi Arabia who is actually there's a lot of reform going on with women in leadership there. So it actually might be ideal for that particular country.
Yeah, well, and I just spoke to them on leadership. So, I'd like to get into areas that are awakening.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I'm in concert with you on that, Linda. It's like I said in the Facebook Lives, my experience in leadership was working for tyrants who told me to be a tyrant. And I could see that being a tyrant wasn't going to fix the situation at hand. So I kind of secretly did my own thing underground and saw that it worked, and it changed how I approached leadership. And honestly, leadership is kind of a secondary focus for me. I look at all these environmental things that are really starting to accelerate, and it scares the crap out of me. And I've got kids, and I think they might have kids, but if they have kids, my grandchildren will be living in a world that's going to be crazy. And that's where the leadership skills of the past and the tyrant-based leadership will never be able to solve those kind of problems. So to me, getting out a program like this that addresses real leadership of pulling people together and engaging, the energy, like Terri-Ann, you were talking about being an energy reader, to be able to have leaders who can read energy and to take that energy and do something with it is revolutionary in terms of anything I ever heard about in leadership before. And I'd love to see this program help me launch, my vision of that kind of leadership training. And I'm really excited to be part of this team because it gives me so much more hope to be around heart-based leaders than being off by myself, trying to put together my vision by myself.
Totally. Dig it.
Terri-Ann.
Dig it? Is that what he said? Dig it?
Yes. It's his 60s personality coming up.
Where are your cultural references? Where are you coming from?
I haven't heard somebody say that since I was a kid. It's interesting. Anything that I say yes to usually has, no, not even usually, almost every single time has something to do with pushing the future of leadership, and really, you know, sort of like when everybody's zigging, we're zagging, right? And you know, for me, I mean, a lot of my focus is on female leadership. Not to say that I don't want more male leaders, but I think there's a new wave that's been coming. It's necessary, it's needed. You know, I have a goal of 1 million female leaders who have owned their place at the table, because they've already earned it. They need to own it, but they need to do it differently. And they need to basically be zagging when everybody else is zigging. They need to do it differently. And I think there are a ton of individuals in leadership roles that have extremely well endowed IQs, wonderful for them. But IQs only get you so far in leadership. And I think what's really lagging in, you know, in the world, in definitely in North America, in our leaders, is the EQ. It's the emotional quotient, sorry. And I think this program has the capacity and the ability to get people to look in and really identify who they are, have that capacity to have true self-leadership, because it's not until you can run you and your day and your internal emotions and the way that you do things that you can ultimately then, you know, communicate effectively with others. So that's what I get excited about. I think the individuals who go through this program are going to have an extreme butterfly effect on the people that they're leading. And, you know, the goal is to create other leaders, right? It's not for them to go out and be like, hey, I'm a leader and I'm bigger and better than you. It's like, hey, I'm a leader. I think you are too. Let me bring you along. Right. And
Totally.
I think
Exactly. Yeah.
that's what this has. This has that capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
So we've
My
had
turn.
totally and cool. What's next?
Right on, usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, power to the people.
Yeah.
Tubular.
So for me, my whole life is about the evolution of human consciousness, seeing people actually transform the way that they're doing things. When I read Linda's book, I realized that everything she said about leadership was what I knew to be true. All the times I've been in leadership successfully, I've implemented everything that she said intuitively. Every time I've been in a leadership position where I fucked up royally, I did everything she said not to do. And so based on that, when I read that book, I was like, everyone needs to know this. This is laid out really simply. It makes perfect sense. You can see, you know, it helped me distinguish between two people I was working for, and was like, cool, keep me away from her because she's a manager and I have zero patience for that bullshit. I'll work with you because you're a leader and you can tell me whatever's needed, even if it's coming from that direction. And I don't want people to have to divide that, right? I want to see people be able to step into leadership, know how to manage things, but not manage people, because
Exactly.
people aren't supposed to be managed, right? Which is something I learned from Tony that I really appreciate. You know, so my values, what this team has helped me see is my actual purpose in the world, right? Where like, I am the innovator and I'm here to make the world better. And I do that by bringing together teams of experts to turn great ideas into revolutionary solutions for their industries. Because I don't know a lot about a lot of industries, but I love connecting with people like yourselves who have been doing this for a while, who have seen all the flaws and have come up with new ideas, putting them together into something no one's ever seen before, and actually making change. Doing something that's so different and yet so intuitive that the whole world goes, wow, there is a better way. And we don't have to dig into all the pain and struggles and all the bullshit. We can just be real about a new possibility and move there. And that's how I see all of us show up. You know, when stuff comes up, we deal with it like we did today, which I appreciate. You know, a 20-minute conversation and we're, you know, the things are cleared and we're back to having an inspired, connected conversation again. I want everyone in the world to be able to do that. So that starts with leadership, in my opinion, leading yourself, as Terri-Ann said, right?